To be, to be honest with you, this essay was to be an essay about Donald the Dumb and how irresponsible he has been dealing with the coronavirus. And it's going to be a typical Trump should have done this and Trump should have done that and quit talking about things that he's so great at. But in the meantime, as I was prepping myself for this essay, or that essay, Mike Pence goes to Mayo Clinic and is fully aware that he is to wear a mask while he's in the clinic. Everyone in the Mayo Clinic wears a mask now because of coronavirus. And so all America saw a hospital room with a coronavirus patient laying in a hospital bed, and the staff and the doctors were standing there around this hospital room. There must have been 8 or more medical personnel. And in walks Pence, the mini-me, the guy who tries to be Donald the Dumb. And every time the task force was trying to deal with the coronavirus until just recently met almost every day. And it would last sometimes for over 2 hours. And a couple of doctors would give their information and some other people would present some information, which lasted for 3 or 4 minutes each. But most of the time, it was Trump talking about how great he has been in resolving this problem. And that's one issue. And then Pence goes around and talks about Trump being the great savior of humanity. And in Mini-Me, the fake president of the vice president of the fake president, didn't wear a mask into this hospital room. And everybody in the United States and most of the world saw Pence walking in with 8 or 9 medical people, plus the coronavirus victim in bed in this hospital room, and he walks in without a mask. And then he realized he made a mistake. And so this is what he said about why he didn't wear the coronavirus mask for the coronavirus. Since I don't have the coronavirus, I thought it'd be a good opportunity for me to be here, to be able to speak to those researchers, those incredible healthcare personnel, and look them in the eye and say, thank you. Now, I'm not the only person in the United States or in the world that watched that and thought, what? He wants to look all the personnel, and I assume he wanted to look at the coronavirus victim in the eye and say something. And so he didn't wear a mask. Now, Mike, this is a mask. I have a lot of these masks in my house. And when I'm out getting groceries or something, I'll wear a mask. I can still see, because the mask is this way. That's one issue. The other issue is that since he doesn't have the coronavirus, he wanted to thank people, and not wearing a mask didn't make any difference because he didn't have the coronavirus, but the coronavirus, I mean, he took a test. They claim that he and President Trump get a test once a week. So at whatever that day was, and the moment when he took the test, he didn't have the coronavirus. 5 minutes later, he could have come in contact with somebody or touched something and had the coronavirus. But since he didn't have it 3 or 4 days before, he was going to come in and look the researchers in the eye without a mask, because he wanted to show how sincere he was. And he didn't want his eyes, apparently, to be covered up. Pence, you are a mini-me of Trump. You're both dumb. Now, I try to do what I can to help those people that I may come in contact with, to, if I had coronavirus or I didn't want to pick up the coronavirus, I also wore a mask outside. And this is a original mask of the plague doctor, and I had an article about it. Now, Mike, if you were wearing this, or I was wearing this at Mayo Clinic, you probably could not see my eyes when I said to you, "Oh, I really appreciate what you're doing." I understand that wearing a plague doctor's mask would prohibit people from seeing how sincerely concerned you were and wanted to thank them for all the work they have done. And at one level, it's the stupidest thing he's ever said. At another level, he doesn't think that we would get that nonsense. He was not going to get an official plague doctor's mask. But this is not going to cover your eyes from speaking truth to the staff. And you can say that to people, and you don't think that they're smart enough to realize that you're acting like Trump. Say anything you want, and you assume that, as stupid as that sounds, they'll believe you. This is the worst. America, I mean, we're arguing about whether this is worse than the Spanish flu back in the late teens, or the Great Depression. I mean, I'm not in here, I'm not doing this video to say I think it's this, or I think it's worse than this, or better than that. I'm here to say America is in trouble, and we have leadership in the White House that act like idiots. That's one. And they're acting like idiots and expecting us to be idiots, accepting their absolutely stupid things regarding the coronavirus. And I've written lots of essays in the past about having done the Dance with Death and how transformative that is. Dancing with Death can allow the person to come alive and to live. Dancing with Death also teaches us that we're going to leave a legacy of how we will be remembered when we go belly up. We ought to become aware that each one of us and the rest of the world is doing a dance with the coronavirus. And how we respond to that dance will determine our legacy and how we will be remembered as long as there are people in this world. It's one thing to act stupid and be remembered as stupid. It is another thing to be responsible for the sickness, the economic disaster, and the death of so many people in the United States. When we were told, along with Trump, that it was coming our way. So appreciate your time watching this video. But unless somebody stands up to Trump and to Mini-Me Pence, he will continue to do that, which continues the mess that he has created. Dancing with Death has taught me the question about how I'm going to live the rest of my time here, and I'm going to live life to its fullest. And I also know that when I die, it will be too late to change any of the legacies that I leave this world. This is a time to create a legacy. And Pence, you ain't doing it.